So, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever again you're joining me from around the world. I'm in Alpine, Victoria I know it's summertime, although the rain is here, and look at that beautiful ray shining through. And these guys that lying down on the ground there, qualifying for a hurricane heat. We're at a Spartan event way up in the hills, 1,370 meters. And we've just done a couple of races today, and I'm just sitting with a young lady who I invited to come from the USA because she's just had a marvelous year in completing 33 Spartan trifecta races within 1 year. So to kind of put that in perspective, you've got 52 weeks in the year. Imagine 33 weekends of those 52, and she runs 2 bars full time as well in SoCal. And those 33 weekends, she's doing 3 racing events each weekend with multiple obstacles and multiple challenges. And so I want to introduce you to Yara. And I don't have a surname.
No, yada, yada, yada.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, it's secret. It's secret. Okay, I might have to buy the surname. Okay, so Yara's been sharing some experiences, and we've been communicating for a little while. And what's most impressive as you start to think about this, and if you like triathlons, or if you like horse riding, or if you like mountain biking, would you go and do 33 extreme events? What drives somebody to do that? And I'm gonna dial back to 2017 and an experience that you had in Iceland. And the medical condition that you have is called what?
Raynaud's.
Raynaud's?
And it's a
Okay.
circulation syndrome where when you get cold, the blood leaves your extremities and your hands turn white and then purple, blue, and it's not good. You gotta keep the blood to your extremities so you don't lose it.
Now, prior to this event that we're going to talk about, you'd done a couple of extreme events.
Yes.
24-hour plus.
Yeah.
And despite the intensity of those events, you still felt that there was something more that you needed to find for yourself. What were you looking for?
I did my first, what they call it in Spartan, it's an agoge. And I did my first agoge because everyone, it's life-changing and it's amazing. And, if you're into that stuff, And I said, I haven't tried it. Let's try it. It's 60 plus hours. It starts when they say, it ends when they say. You have a gear list and you go and do whatever you're told to do, and you just have to survive and not quit or get medically pulled. So I did the first one in Vermont, and I witnessed a lot of people having that moment, that breakthrough. I watched them cry and then come back and push themselves, and I didn't get that at that event. And I don't want to say that I was disappointed, but I kind of was, because I really was so hyped up about this event that I was really looking for that, searching for that. So then they used to have 2 events a year for sure. For this year, for some reason, they had 4. So they announced Scotland, and I said, oh my gosh, this would be epic to do a 60 plus hour event in Scotland. Make it a racecation. So I signed up and I showed up, and it was tough. It was cold, it was wet. It was very physically demanding. Carry this, dude. It was very, very heavy. For me, I'm little, so it was more pain physically that I experienced. I didn't get that umph that I saw people. I was proud of myself, and I was like, yes, I survived. I was one of 4 or 5 females. It was great, very proud of that moment, but I didn't feel what I kept hearing everybody talk about that they experienced. So then they announced one in Iceland, and with my condition, that's kind of a no-no, but the fear kind of drove me to do it. And I knew that I was scared. I don't I don't ski, I don't snowboard. I didn't grow up with those sports due to this. And I live in California, so there's like cold is not my thing. So there was something about the unknown, something I don't ever do, something I'm unfamiliar with. And it kind of intrigued me and kind of said, you know what? I'm scared. Let's do this. So I signed up and I was scared. And it was tough.
You had an experience there, but did you feel it when you came away from that? Now let's go to the experience. So the experience was that you found yourself in some ice cold water.
Yes. Yeah. So throughout the event, people quit. And when you're in an event and you see people quit, that feeling of like, oh, should I quit? Like I'm on the verge. Like, do I push myself? One time they were doing med checks and the van had to come in the middle of nowhere in the snow, and we piece by piece had to go in, and they had us take off our gloves and our shoes, and they checked our eyes and our hands and our fingernails for hypothermia. And so people were coming in the van, and then some people were quitting, and then I got stuck in a van with these big tough guys, and these guys were quitting. They weren't medically being pulled, but they were like, I'm done. And it made me more nervous than ever, because I'm like, if these big guys are quitting, am I stupid for wanting to continue? Like, I don't feel like I'm ready to quit. So I hung in there, and those of us that kept going, they threw us back out in the snow, and we kept going. And then towards the end of I think we were about hour 48, 50, absolute no sleep, trekking, doing stuff in the snow. They tell us to strip and get in the water. And we all looked at each other, and I said, I knew. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not going to lose fingers and toes over an event. I'm not doing it. My fear, I've never been so scared. And I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. I was more embarrassed than anything, but at the same time, this is not how I want to go down. Like, this is not, I want them to say, you need to stop, you're out. Like, you're out. You tell me I can't do this. I shouldn't quit. I think that's what pushed me to keep going. I kind of felt like if there was something wrong, they should know that, and they should pull me, because that's what they do, right? So I'm not being pulled. Maybe I should just continue, but I was scared. And when they told us to do that, I said, you know what? I can't do it. And my teammates were like, you got to do it. You got to do it. The medic looked at me, and she glared at me, and she knew my condition. And she's like, you got this. And I was like, before I knew it, we were all ready to go, clothes off, in our sports bra and underwear, and in the water. As soon as I hit the water went to my chest. To everyone else, it was their waist. And my body went into complete convulsions. I never did ice baths. I didn't know anything about this stuff. My whole body just started and I lost control. Like, I've never shivered like that. I don't know what was happening. I was scared. One of my teammates grabbed my forearms, held me, and said, you need to breathe, slow down, breathe. And I can't breathe. Like, I was scared. I honestly, but I couldn't do anything because I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. And it was like, here I am in the water. And I kind of blacked out. All I remember is the leader, the owner of Spartan, telling and yelling people, you know, you're not all the way in, and we're not getting out till everybody's in. And then everyone had to go up to their neck and then come back out and do it again. And this whole time I have been up to here because I'm short the entire time. So it seemed like forever. I don't know how long we were there, but we were there forever. Down, up. He's yelling at the guys in the back. I see you. You're not going down all the way. And then completely numb. I did not feel my legs. I didn't feel my arms. I knew that I was numb, and it was not good. All right, everyone out. Scooped us out. Put me, up on my ledge. Stand up, go in circles. We're doing 50 burpees. And he explained the reason why we were doing burpees is because it's the fastest way to get the blood flowing to your body. But we were freezing. It was
you were in
cold,
a freezing, crippled state,
and I couldn't.
Not able to do burpees.
I was doing burpees on my elbows, on my knees, and yeah. But it was horrifying. I was scared. I after that moment, I didn't think I was going to be able to continue going. We still had to go all the way down the mountain, and we still had another minimum 24 hours to go. So there I was, like, oh, and then everyone out, get your clothes on, go, go, go. We're getting our clothes on. The medic comes over. She puts a dry robe. She's like looking at my hands, and she's all, you need to get blood flow. And I'm looking at her like,
I'm trying. Really?
Don't you think I want to do
Thank
that?
you for telling me. Yeah.
She puts a beanie on my head. It was Joe's beanie, and she goes, "Come on, let's go, let's go." And I'm like scrambling. My roommates, my teammates had to help tie my shoe. I couldn't grasp the shoelace. And then once we got going, I was close to the front, and I just kept, like, while people were walking, I was jogging and just trying to. But it was horrible. We did another 20 plus hours, and I finished. I was I want to say one of 4 girls. I've never been so proud, but I was seriously like, what did I do? I would have never in my life thought that I would ever do something like that. If you would have told me that I would have done what I did, I would have laughed at you completely. And I would have said, there's no way that I would finish, let alone want to continue.
Okay. You allowed yourself to be placed in an environment that you knew could potentially even be life-threatening,
Yeah.
to try and find a point within yourself that is like, is this my breaking point? And, you know, like, for me, you know, I do some crazy stuff, but like,
Looking outside in when you say that, yeah, it sounds
and it's-
crazy.
and for those of you that are watching and listening, it's like, what the heck is, you know, Mark talks to these sensible people about challenges of getting through trials. What I'm wanting you to try and get a taste of here is that at times, first off, is that each of us have different thresholds for acceptance. And so I posted on a number of things. You know, what do you accept for change? What's your thermostat for change? What is reality? What do you consider to be truth? Is it what you say or what somebody else says? We're all individual. And so we have somebody here who, knowing a life-threatening condition, traveled to a position or to a location to allow her life to be taken over for 60 hours to find if there was a breaking point within herself. And despite that, it was 5 years ago, she still came back and did this. So why did you keep coming back? Had you found that you couldn't be broken? Are you indestructible?
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
You're the unbreakable.
You know,
Maybe they named the program after
the
you.
unbreakable. You know what? I see where you're coming from, and I hearing you say it puts it in like this perspective for me, because I've never really thought about it that way. Yeah, that changed me. Exactly what I heard everyone else tell me about these events. That event changed me. You know, I do other events in the cold, and I'm more aware of being properly with gear. I am more aware of my condition, where when I know that I'm starting to get cold, I know, hey, I need to get it to stop before it's completely, you know, so.
Because you lose cells.
Yes.
Cells die from
Yes.
that condition.
Yes.
Yep.
And it could affect me when I'm older if I continue to allow my hands to keep, you know, hands and toes. Yes.
All right.
So
you kept pushing through.
yeah.
You found that you couldn't be broken. So do you do this now just more for enjoyment rather than trying to find a breaking point
There's
again?
always enjoyment, because the trifectas I enjoy. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy the obstacles. I enjoy being lucky enough to be able to travel to amazing places. But it always changes, so it's not the same in a way.
Yeah.
So you're putting your body through different altitudes, different weathers. Like, it was sunny and nice, now it's pouring. Hopefully tomorrow it's not raining. But it's that. With the trifecta chasing, I wanted to push myself. Yes, it sounds ridiculously crazy. I originally was wanting to do it in 2020 for my 40th, and then COVID happened. So that goal was still there. I just didn't know when I would be able to do it because the world was in this bubble. And so when the time came, I'm like, all right, this is the year, let's do it. And I wanted to break the record. If I'm going to do something, I'm the type of person where I set a goal, I do it. And unless something really stops me, like I'm stubborn, very stubborn. But
I
also,
hadn't picked that.
I'm
Really?
a goal setter. And if I say I'm going to do something, I do it,
Yeah.
to the best that I can.
Okay.
I don't half-ass anything.
That last part's important because sometimes we can set ourselves a goal and it's really not a goal. It's something we think that we might like to do, but we never apply the discipline to condition ourselves to actually achieving it and beyond that. It's like when you're setting a goal, that's not the end. And I've mentioned this before about, the globe being round and you're looking at the horizon and saying, yeah, okay, I'm running to the horizon. When you get there, like, have you reached the horizon? No, because there's a new horizon. And so there should never be an end to challenge. But I want to come back to a couple of things. You sat in a medical bus with some guys that were big. And we see guys out on the courses here that are big and muscly and they've come from the gyms. And they get out on these obstacle courses and they get broken.
And they break.
They get broken, and you are 5 foot what?
I'm 4'10".
4'10".
And a half.
She's 4'10". So climbing up, some of these obstacles, we've got 8, 9, and one 10-foot wall to get up. So she's a bit like a gecko trying to run it. What weight are you?
I'm pounds, so 108 pounds.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
I don't know kilos.
You guys have got Google, you'll figure that out. So this is not a muscly person that's coming out to prove something. This is as an individual. So, Yada, thank you for sharing. Now, what I would like you listening, watching, to again reiterate in your own mind is that you are always in control of your destiny. You are able to make the decisions that you want to make, even though you might allow others to have control over an incident. You're still able to say to yourself and to show to others, I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm going to keep doing this because. And that word because is very important. I don't think I've ever used this. I use this in sales training because there was a Harvard study on this back in the 70s for Xerox, that the university professor would have people stand in a line, at the back of a line, lining up to use a photocopier. And we don't do that now, but imagine this line. And they would go to the person in front and try and work their way up the line by saying, I'd like to make a copy, will you let me in front? So what do you think the compliance rate was for that? Okay, so it was pretty poor. I can't give you the number because the numbers that I remember are the numbers that had because in. Then she got them to change that, go back a different day and say, excuse me, can I move in front of you because I want to make a photocopy? I mean, it's a stupid thing to say because everybody's lining up to make a photocopy. But do you know what the compliance rate was? 92%.
Wow.
92% of the people, when they heard that word because, here's somebody who has a reason. And you hear that and you give way to that. Then she said, okay, I want you to add something else because I have an urgent appointment. And that got a 97% compliance. So you need to look for your because. We've talked about your why, your purpose, your reasons for doing things. But you've got to keep reminding yourself of that.
Yeah.
The same as these individuals were reminding others that what I'm doing is important. And if you share that with enough people that are moving in the same direction, they're going to support you in doing that. So, once again, live your life with purpose, love fully, and serve unconditionally. Be good, stay safe. We're signing out.